What's up, everybody? Dave Kunstec here, and I'm here with Luke Catlett. He's with Oklahoma Pro Wash. Part of the reason why he's here today is he's actually a former client of ours. We ran his ads for about 2 to 3 years or so. Things went really well, and he actually started running them by himself. And he also has another business. He's still doing his window cleaning, but he also has like an AI business where he's just really experienced on how you get a lead, run it through a process, qualify it, and take it right to the sale, which is what I want to talk about here today. Because one of the biggest struggles, I mean, I'm sure you know in your early days, Luke, the people that we work with on a regular basis. I mean, like right now, we're working with about 65 pressure washers and window cleaners, paper sealing companies, and such. And you have the more experienced people who are really good at sales, but a lot of them they don't have a good process. They just don't proceed through sales
Mhm.
and warming up the leads properly. So that's pretty much what I want to talk about here today. But just get a little background on you. Let's just do a quick little snapshot of your business. Just go
Sure.
over, just general info, how your business is set up, and whatever else you want to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Dave, for having me
Yeah.
on. So yeah, I started the business in 2020. I was focused solely on pressure washing, and I'm out here in Northeast Oklahoma, near the Tulsa area.
Yep.
I was doing pressure washing for the first from September of 2020 till about August of 2021, and I was really honestly, just like most other startup businesses or whatever, just really struggling with getting my first clients and stuff.
Mm.
I was actually in the process of trying to get a new, or get a job, and I saw Dave's ads show up on my Facebook. And I was like, well, man, if this guy can target me as a pressure washer, then surely he can, get me some clients. So, and I added window cleaning about that same time because I had a
Mhm.
few pressure washing clients asking about windows. And so then I saw Dave's ads showing up on my feed, and I was like, well, I'm gonna give this a shot while I'm turning in applications. And like the first week I hired you guys, I
Mhm.
was
I
booked out
remember.
for about 3 weeks after that. And I was like, well, here it is. So,
That makes me, you don't know how happy that makes me.
dude,
You know.
not to sound cliche and not to like go overboard, but I mean, it literally changed my life. I mean, because it was either go back to work or, make this thing work. And so, the Facebook ads with clean marketing, I mean, seriously, it took off. And,
It gives me a little shudder in my back when you talk about getting a job. It's like, man,
yeah.
I mean, some days in business, everybody's just like, the hell with
Hmm.
this. I'm gonna get a job. But then
Yeah.
after you think about it for 30 minutes,
I
it's
know it,
like, no
man.
way.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't want to go back for sure. And but it's like, well, this ain't working. So yeah, that like booked me 3 weeks out, and then I was consistently booked out from then on. And so basically from that was 12
Hmm.
months, where I'd gone on my own, mostly yard signs, and obviously you got your referrals and stuff.
Oh
Um
yeah, yeah.
and then I basically, after I did the ads with clean marketing, it basically tripled my business. So I did about well, a little under triple. I did 50 my first 12 months, and then I did about 135 my next 12 months with clean marketing being
And
the
that's solo operator.
yeah,
Did
solo, yeah, owner operator, yep. And then the following 12 months after that was about 176, and that was my max that I ever got to as a solo owner
yeah.
operator. And
What kind of hours are you putting in for that kind of?
so May was crazy, I'll say
Mhm.
that, of that year. I did about 25, I think I did about 27 that May all by myself. And then January that year, I think I might have worked like 5 days.
Yeah.
And then I always take off from between Christmas and New Year, take off July 4th, the whole week there, a week in August. So I wasn't killing myself by any means, but I had, decent prices, and
Oh, you got some big tickets in there to get that.
yeah, man. So honestly, my average ticket was 350. Now obviously I did have some bigger jobs, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
all kind of evened out. But yeah, I wasn't killing myself by any means for sure. I'm the type I don't, work 12, 14-hour days. That's just not me. But I don't know, for me that was pretty good. We've got, not super high cost of living, so it was good for me. So last year I took a little dip just I mean I worked less than I ever have last year and did about 110.
Well,
But
I'll tell you though, just from what I'm doing here and the people I talk to and running their ads, it was the entire industry.
really? Okay.
Like, I mean, there were some people who were deeply rooted and had like great branding, and they already had multiple crews, and it just they were able to do well off their existing business. But
Hmm.
um, across the board, we saw everybody getting the dip.
Gotcha.
It was yeah, it wasn't just you. It was pretty much it was most of the people we work with. Now,
Hmm.
the people that didn't see that, like I said, they have brands, and the other ones were people who were executing multiple channels. So their SEO was in place. They were ranking for many different keywords. They were running Google ads as well. You know, excuse me. Good retargeting and just a good systems and keeping in front of their existing customers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the theme for this again, like I said, is going to be lead to sale. So for
Okay.
home exterior cleaners.
Hmm.
And again, if you see me looking down here, I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah, no worries.
Um, so one of the first portion I want to talk about is lead generation and first contact. So lead comes in. Obviously, we know how you do it now, but we can get to that part after we tell it the hard way.
For sure.
So number one, like how do your leads typically find you today?
Yeah. So my biggest thing right now, I would say, because I'll be turning my ads back on here probably tonight actually, because we're
Yeah, I
about
would.
70 degrees today, so I probably
Yeah.
should have this morning.
You
But
should, man. Like, I'm just don't mean to interrupt you, man. I'm telling you,
no,
we're seeing
the
like we've been
floodgates.
running ads for a bunch of people, obviously further south from you yet. We're seeing 2021 numbers
Oh
like in the
wow.
ads. Yeah, they're cooking.
Okay, yeah, for sure. But then I mean, I do get a lot. I don't have any yard signs out right now, and but those were pretty killer for me. The bandit signs,
Yep.
call it what you will. Just
Yeah, that's what I hear a lot of people calling them
yeah,
bandit signs.
yeah. Because I mean, honestly, well, anyway, we get into the legality of it, but it's
Yeah,
different states and different cities and stuff. But anyway, yeah. So signs, I'm not doing any of those right now. But honestly, follow up with past customers and even quotes, that I didn't
hmm
win the job on. I've gotten several of those. Just text blast is what I'm kind of
You're
doing.
doing them. You're doing text
Yeah.
blast.
Yep. They did really well for me last year, and I think I sent it out just a little bit too early. It was pretty cold, and I got several. I got several on that, but I'll be sending out another blast this week for sure. It was about a month or a month and a half ago that I sent that first blast out, and it always seems to drum up, about a maybe 2 or 3 days of business up to a week, so week and a half. So
It's like printing money, man. When it's there, I can't
yep.
complain about that.
Yep, for sure. And then obviously you got your referrals and stuff.
Hmm
Uh, so that May that I did really good, and I've still got this particular customer. The main thing for me is just is being friendly with your competition. I sold so I when I first started out, I had a hot and a cold unit, hot water pressure washer.
Yep.
Well, I ended up I wasn't doing that much commercial, so I sold it to a local competitor. He does more painting, but he does some power washing as well. And about within a year, I can't remember what year I sold it to him, but in 2023, I got a call. He called me and said he had a huge job that he wasn't able to get to. Long story short, it's a CEO of a like Fortune 500 company here in Tulsa, oil and
hmm
gas. CEO makes like 8 million a year, lives in Tulsa. And so it was his house. He was selling that house, buying a new one anyway, and I clean his house once a year, and then I do his windows 4 times a year. And he paid me 2,500 for about a day and a half's worth of work, and tipped me $750 last spring. Which I mean, that's like flipping a 50-cent piece to the paper boy.
Right. Well, yeah, on $8 million. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for him. So yeah, that came through a local relationship, with another power washing contractor. So they're not your enemy, guys. I mean, there's not enough. You're arrogant if you think you can clean every single house and commercial property in your town. If you're got any size at all, and so make friends and refer each
You
other
know,
work.
and everybody sees. I think it too. But some of other people that do what I do, even in our niche. I
Sure,
talk
yeah,
to like I'm friends with like Jonathan Henderson, or Pressure Washing Marketing Pros. Ashley Bissing, One Love Social. She does a
hmm
lot of like again, we all talk, we're friends. I'm sure we don't all share our core. Hey, this
yeah,
is what drives us.
yeah,
We're friendly with each other. We do share, we do talk, we do support each other. And here, so I even had a conversation here, and they're like, "Doesn't he do what you do now?" And I was like, "Kinda,"
yeah,
but yeah, I was like, like I said when I asked you, we have a good mutual respect for each other, and I don't think either one of us is going to, do the other one dirty.
yeah, for sure.
You
Yep.
know.
No, and I mean, I'll tell you, man, it's been tempting because I have a lot of people come to me and ask me because they see me, or that I think I don't know that you're running the ad with my testimonial in it as much anymore, but I still have people say, "Hey, how was your experience with clean marketing?" And I do send it all to you because
Oh, I do see it. I do see that. Like,
yeah.
and then I don't know if you got it, but people have asked us about the AI bots. Like, listen, we
Oh,
don't
okay.
specialize. My staff don't do like I said, but this guy over here, that's what he does. But like I said,
Okay.
it's just been a hard sell.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
people, and again, that's part of the reason why I want to have this call.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the hard way, then we'll let you
Mhm.
go into what the easy way
Yeah.
actually is. Because
Yeah.
it does, like we do use it for us, but I'll tell you, it gets complicated. The bot gets confused sometimes.
hmm hmm
Not even I shouldn't say confused, but it's just I don't know what the word for it is, but it's still an emerging technology,
Yeah, for sure.
and you always get opportunities to tweak it further. But the
hmm
more we see it do what we don't want it to do, and it's not like telling people to screw off or anything,
Yeah,
but
right.
it's just not answering the questions where we were like we were doing it ourselves.
Sure. Yeah.
So we just keep teaching it some lessons. But
Yep.
all right, so we figure out where you're getting your leads from. So when a new lead comes in, what do you do immediately? And again, this is your old way.
Yeah, the old way. Yeah. So if I had the time, if I wasn't up on a ladder, if I wasn't on the pressure washing gun or whatever, I would try to call them as soon as I could. You've got a pretty good system, or at the time, whenever I was working with you, you had a pretty good system. I would get a message saying, "Hey, you've got a lead,
Yep.
have the phone number or whatever." Try to reach out as soon as I could. That didn't happen, as quickly as I would have liked, because but I've had several, the ones that I do, they're always like, oh wow, they're always blown out of the water. I've even had people where I called the next day and they're like, wow, thanks for getting back with me so fast. Not sarcastically.
Well, I get it. I get it.
I mean, I do it too. I call a HVAC company or whatever, and it's like pulling teeth trying to pay somebody or get somebody to take your money. But yeah, try to call them as soon as I can. One thing that seems to have worked for me is call first. Sometimes give it a double call because if they're on Do Not Disturb, it'll ring
Mhm.
through. Obviously, you don't want to pester people too much right off the bat, but then I'll always send them a text as well
Yep. We
because
found that again, like if someone's telling us, hey, these people don't pick up, we usually say text them first to say,
Yep.
hey, this is Luke. You requested information about getting your windows cleaned. I'm gonna
Yep.
call you in 2 minutes from a 570 area code.
hmm
And usually that would turn things around.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yep.
because a lot of times when they pick up their phone after you call them and you've texted them, it'll say maybe Luke or maybe whatever your name is if you tell them your name first. So that
Yep.
kind of lets them know it's not some scam spam thing from overseas or wherever. So yeah, definitely trying to call them as soon as I could for sure is
So
always.
you do that, then how do you qualify them immediately, see if they're a good fit?
Yeah, I mean, my first question, because I do mostly Windows. Ask them how many windows they have.
Hmm.
Ask them about storm windows. If they say they've got the old-fashioned storm windows, multiple panes that you got to take them all apart and clean them all up. I let them know my minimum over the phone, which is $500.
Yep.
And so try to, I don't want to go look at a 30 storm window job that's going to be 1,500 and, they're just not on board with that at all. So I try to check out storm windows first, number of windows, And I honestly try to bid over the phone as much as I can, but I'm about 30 minutes outside of the closer edge of my service area. And so I'm anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes into Tulsa. And so I do quote over the phone as much as I can, or obviously I batch them, as best I can. Um, and honestly, I'll be honest, I don't have a super great, pre-qualifying phase or, process, but just number of windows. And I give them a minimum, if they're like, I've got 8 windows, I'm like, well, my exterior only minimum, is 129 or 149 or, whatever it is, depending on the season, depending on how busy I am. I
Yep.
definitely do supply and demand pricing, bump it up if the further out I get booked and everything. So yeah, just kind of give them that price over the phone and see, if there's any sticker shock to kind of make sure it'd be worth my while to go in. If they say they've got 30 windows, they probably have 40, so I definitely want to go look at that one. And
Yeah.
but just try to count with them, over the phone and try to figure everything out. And I'll try to bid it over the phone as much as I can. But yeah, just mostly window count and give them a price anchor, to try to see what their gauge amount.
Did you
Yep.
have an idea of what your closing ratio versus in-person ratios
I
are?
honestly I don't. I couldn't
Or
tell.
even what have you noticed? I mean, do you close
Yeah,
more in
yeah.
person or do you close more when you bid them over the phone?
Man, I mean I would say I'm about well here's the thing. I would say most of my bids are not face to face, because people are at work,
Hmm.
for the most part. I would say if I get in front of them, I mean, I I've got, I show up on time, and I got a clean vehicle,
Hmm.
clean uniform. I've got a pretty decent brand. And so I would probably have to say my in-persons, when I get to meet the person is, quite a bit higher, but I don't have the solid data on that for sure.
Yeah, no, no, and I'm just trying to figure out some people are going to listen to it, and
Yeah.
like we always, when people are new
Hmm.
and or they're not closing jobs, that's the first question we ask: Are you doing in
Oh yeah.
person or are you doing over the phone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if they're trying to quote by messenger or they're trying to quote by phone and they're not closing well, I was
Yep.
like, our next thing is, go there, be presentable, wear
Yep.
your brand. Um,
Hmm.
again, get a magnet for your truck if you don't have it wrapped, just
Yep.
something.
Yeah, I would definitely say, if you are struggling to close, the reason I don't, the reason I do quote over the phone is because I'm so busy, that I can't get out there and I am 30 to 45 minutes away. It is all the same direction, but yeah, if I was struggling to get jobs, I would definitely be showing up, and up the charm, as much as I can and just being as personable as I could for sure.
Yeah, we do the same thing because I'll tell you when I get people on Zoom, closing even for us for
Sure.
marketing services is a lot better. But I'll be honest, most of it's by phone because these guys are in trucks, or
Hmm.
I would
Hmm.
prefer they're in front of a Zoom so I can show them, but
Yep.
most of the time it doesn't happen that way.
Absolutely, for sure.
So from there, all right, you're doing the bids. Now, do you have like say a specific strategy for building trust or making them understand that, you're a quality provider? Like what do you do to build that trust with people once you have
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. So my main thing, and I don't know, some guys probably aren't going to like this, but I've given, well, I'll just tell you. I always tell people that I've got 100% satisfaction guarantee. And I mean that seems to put, I don't know, that sounds simple and maybe sounds stupid, but it's just something that goes over and beyond. Just like, hey, you have me on your property until you're completely happy. If not, I don't want your money. I mean, honestly, because I've had to give, I think, two refunds in almost 5 years now, and well, there was a couple that they were just, there was no way they were going to be happy.
That
Thankfully,
those people exist. Like we see them
yeah,
too.
yeah. But I mean, I've got over 200 5-star Google reviews. You know what I'm saying? And people are
Hmm.
afraid of automating, getting Google reviews and stuff. Like, guys, that shouldn't be a problem. Like, the only time I've ever had issues was whenever the customer was not there, and
Hmm.
I always go over if they're there. I always say, hey, check everything out. How's it all looking? Man, get a verbal, oh man, everything's looking great, from everybody that you can. The only times I've ever had issues was whenever the homeowner wasn't there and I just missed a little spot here or there or whatever it was, and I wasn't able to get to it and they were just, kind of unreasonable. Yeah,
That happens,
definitely.
man. That happens.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I am a big proponent of the human factor and that, humans aren't perfect.
Right. Am I frozen up?
You are. I don't know what's
Okay.
going on. There you go. You're
Okay, there we
back.
go. Sorry
For a
about
second
that.
there, I was like, well, I have to reconnect this in a minute.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, like I really I believe in the human race that generally everybody's as good as possible,
Sure.
but you do occasionally come across with unreasonable people, and it's not that unreasonable people, it's maybe it's had a bad day, man.
Yeah,
Maybe
for sure.
they had something, something happened in their life, and
Yep.
you're their gift to get it out today. That's about
Yeah.
it, you
Yeah, for
know.
sure. You just got to keep your cool, man, and just, realize, hey, people are people. You're gonna have a bad apple and good people are gonna have a bad day from time to time. You just got to roll with it and not let it destroy your day, which I'm the worst because I'm the world's worst people pleaser. And so it's like,
Dude, so me too, me too.
yeah,
I try not to be, but it's got me in more jams
yeah,
than what I actually promised because my biggest problem is saying no.
yeah, right.
Again, we talk to people and I'll say, we can do this, we can do that. And then I end up doing it. And my staff's like, well, what are you doing? We don't do
Yeah,
that. I was like, but I've been here for, this office I'm in here. I've been here for 22 years. Like I've kind of done everything at this point almost.
yeah, right.
So, just I try to put my best foot forward, but it
Mhm.
destroys your ability to scale at certain points of
Yeah,
the year.
for sure, for
All
sure.
right, so we got the lead in. You've
Hmm.
talked through them.
Hmm.
You started giving a quote. How do you present the offer? Again, it could be a phone, could be in person. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, so like I said, over the phone, well, usually I'll give them the price over the phone. If it is, like I say, if it is a little bit slower, I do, like I said, I've got my supply and demand pricing, and
Yep.
so I am honestly able to tell them if it like this week, if I get when I do a quote, I'll be like, hey, usually it's $18 a window. I don't tell them the per window price. Say they've got 20 windows and they're doing inside and out. Hey, usually it's 360 for the next week, until we get into our super busy season. I can do it for whatever 15 time. I can do it for 299, so it is
Yep.
kind of
Hotels do the same thing, man. I'll tell you. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I was just looking at rentals for our summer vacation. We used to go to Ocean City, Maryland,
Yeah,
and I'll tell you, once you get out of May,
for sure.
it starts heading up because the demand's there.
Yep. Yeah. And then if obviously, if it's a yes right away, I'll book them onto my schedule. If it's a maybe or I'm getting more bids or whatever, I'll say, okay, no problem. Again, that is for, the next however many days or whatever. And then I'll put them into my obviously I've already got them into my CRM, but then I'll say no problem. I'm going to send you over the quote so you've got it for your information.
Hmm.
And, I send it to them and then they'll get two follow-ups over the next week or so.
And
I
they're
could,
automated follow-ups.
yeah, yeah, through Jobber. Yep. And yeah, I could probably do a few more, if I was, trying to do a little bit better at
I
that. But
mean, I like Jobber. I mean, I do. Like one of the things I like about it the most is it again. Maybe you use it this way too, but I use it for triggers for other things.
yep.
Every time an invoice gets paid, I know you can do it through Jobber, but like when we run ads now, part of what we do, like on our mid-level packages, is we offer review reputation managers, or
Hmm.
review
Hmm.
acquisition. So if
For
someone
sure.
has Jobber or Markate or something like that, we just
Hmm.
hook up, get Zapier, and every time an invoice gets paid, it hits our system and out goes the
Yep,
review request. Like
for
it's like
sure.
clockwork.
Yep, yeah, it's nice for sure. That's definitely been huge in getting mine up to the over the 200
Well,
mark for
200
sure.
is nothing to shake a stick at, man. I
Yeah,
mean, I know there's people at 1,000. That's a lot
yeah,
of reviews, though.
yeah, right. Yeah, I've lost probably 50 to 60 over the past 2 years. Of course, we just had a big, crazy thing going. I don't know
If
what
you
happened
look
there.
right now, they're probably back. Because
Okay.
what we found out was if you went through and actually counted them,
Yeah,
they were still there, But
Right.
I looked today at one of our clients that we're doing SEO for, and his are back where it's supposed to be.
Okay. Yeah.
You.
Because I didn't have anything better to do for about 10 minutes and I counted them. I was at like 176 but I actually had about 200. I counted about 203. So,
Yeah.
but I know about 40 of them are missing because I was up to about 220 and I know they drop off all the time. I
It
had
does
about,
happen if
yeah.
people get their accounts in trouble
Yeah.
and because or they get reported by somebody else for being
Hmm.
spammy, then they just
Yeah.
eliminate them all.
Yeah.
I've seen it before, but the weird part is like I've left them for people and people are like they're not there. You
Yeah.
know, and when you leave a review, you can go in and look at all the reviews you left in one place.
Right.
I can
Right.
go and I can show the guy, like, look, it's right here. I left it. But
Yep.
Google's not showing my review for their reasons over there. It
Yep.
was, I don't, and I can't explain it. It just is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I send the quote over to the customer after I, tell them the price. If it's not an immediate yes, and then they get some, a couple of follow-ups over the next few days. And also, that helps too with people that, they are getting multiple bids so they can go back and
Hmm.
refer to it and see exactly what it is I'm offering.
Cool. All right. So that's going on. Someone's not, or say you have the opportunity on the spot. Now it's time to close the deal. So either you're going to close the deal or you're automate. I know you have some automations that can probably do that for you. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But like, what do? You take a deposit? Do you take payment in full? Like, what do you do?
Honestly, I don't. I take payment after the job, and I've never had an issue, yeah,
You
with
hear mixed feelings on that. People you
yeah,
see in the groups, people get ripped off. Some people won't. They won't schedule a job unless it's 20% down or
yeah.
half down or
Honestly,
whatever.
yeah, even the Christmas lights. Now I do take payment, up front,
I didn't
but
know you did Christmas lights.
yeah, just a tiny bit, not a lot. But yeah, I mean, I literally like three houses last year.
And I can't even
But
tell you how many clients we had last year that
yeah,
made more money in 3 months than they
oh
made the
yeah,
rest of the year,
for sure. Yeah.
doing exterior cleaning.
Yep, yep. So yeah, yeah, even them, I just collect the money after I put them up, or when the job's complete. And I've never had an issue. I mean, like maybe, honestly, maybe five people in 5 years have rescheduled or canceled, and never heard from, ghosted me. So it's not been an issue for me for sure. I just take payment after the work's done.
So you have a credit card on file or you invoice them per check or
Um, it's all over the place. I usually, if they do want to do a credit card, so here's what I do, because if I take it in person, there's no tipping option. But if I send
oh,
it to them, it asks for a tip, and that's how I got that $750 tip. And he tips me at least $200 every single time, even on a $800 window clean.
if I made 8 million a year, I would too. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. So the credit card fees, I've definitely made more in tips that have well covered all the credit card fees. But yeah, I'll take check, cash, PayPal, Venmo, just about
What's your
anything.
sales cycle? So you finish a job, you invoice, how long does it take to get paid? I know if you send
Um,
Jobber, there's a pay link in there.
Yeah, yeah, yep, yeah.
Yeah.
I always do Jobber. Yeah, and I'm usually people pay the same day. I do have a couple customers. If they don't pay within 48 hours, they do get another text, and then they get another text after about, I think, a total of 5 days. They'll get another message. And
So
I only
it'll go out a week.
Yep, yep. And I think I've got one lady. She's amazing. She's a $415 customer, tips me 20%, an $80 tip every single time, but it takes about 5 to 7 days for her to pay every single. I don't She's super nice. We've been together, I've cleaned her windows for about 18, 24 months, but like clockwork, it's about 5 to 7 days, which that's fine with me.
I
I'm
could
not
live
that
with that. I
desperate.
mean,
Yeah.
we do the same thing here, man. Sometimes people hit rough times. Sometimes,
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
seasonal stuff goes through.
Yep.
I mean, we have a couple of clients, and I don't like doing this because it just gets to be a pain. But they're on weekly, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
But it is what it is. But we're trying to
Yep.
work with them because they're good clients. We've been with them for
Yep.
years, and uh, and they stay with us because our marketing works. It's just
Uh-huh.
for whatever reason, they had a big
Situation.
expense, like an engine blew up in their truck, or they get rear-ended and they got to cover it until the insurance gets taken care of.
Yep.
Something
Yep.
happens.
Yeah.
All right, so we're there for closing the deal. Got the job, we did it, you got paid. Next part is your follow-up and retention. So what's your follow-up process for getting your clients to come back over and over again?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually learned this from Josh over at Window Cleaning Resource, Jersey Josh. He calls
I
it
mean,
yeah, yeah, yep.
I've heard his name.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
never got to talk to him now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's got I've listened to his podcast or whatever, but he calls it the dentist close. And so at the end of your cleaning, because like I say, mostly I do window cleaning. I don't normally do this for pressure washing because we don't need it that often. I mean, maybe once every 2 or 3 years here in Oklahoma. But for the windows, I say, okay, I'm all finished up. They're talking about how amazing their windows are or whatever. And I say, do you want your next appointment to be in 3 months or 6 months?
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, well, some of them are, honestly, a lot of them are probably like, well, I'll call you back. But then I do have, I do get my quarterly and biannual clients that way depending on how good of a job it is, I'll tell them a discount, 10% off for twice a year or 20% off for quarterly if it's a job that I like doing. But if
Yeah, I got you.
yeah, but otherwise it's just, hey, I don't have any contracts, but what I do is I put you down in my system to where you'll get a reminder 6 days before, and we can put you down for 6 months, or some of my clients do quarterly. Which one works best for
But
you?
did you make them confirm before you go out, even though it's in your calendar?
Yeah, so that can be a little tricky. I just make sure so they get a text 6 days before and it says click to confirm and they follow a link and they confirm it. I've never had an issue where I showed up and they weren't expecting me.
All right, but they are confirming. But now, if you send that out and they don't confirm, you don't show up.
Well, I,
I,
I, I don't really, yeah, I've never had an issue. They always text. Now I could definitely run into some issues, I could see running into some issues with that. But yeah, I've never had an issue with it for sure. Because
no,
honestly, a lot of people, they don't even, some of them don't even click confirm, but I'll show up and, it'll still all be good. If I have a funny feeling about it, I'll ask. That's not like super scalable or scientific, but yeah, it's never been an issue for sure. But I could definitely see why it would be.
well, it's basically you get people on the schedule. That's your main follow-up process.
Yep, yep. Just schedule them 3 months out.
Yep. Now that's a hard thing to get in with people. I mean, what they
Yeah,
do, they just certain times of the year they go through their whole list and do blasts, but there's nothing that's organized and
right.
ready unless they have a solution again, like Jobber or
Mhm,
Marquette or something like that.
for sure.
Like we've talked about doing it for people, but man, the way we would do it, because we're not offering those CRMs. We use high level again. That's what we use like for our agency. But
Hmm.
we started a stub account and we could do it. But man, one of those solutions like that is it's just a better fit for that portion.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me see here. Now, do you have any, this one's a little off the wall. Do you have any strategies for turning one-term clients into big jobs or getting them to give you referrals? Do you have any?
Um, I do so occasionally I will give a discount for a referral. I have several people that I mean they have brought me actually I've got kind of some secret sauce here that I'll share with you.
These are things people would listen to this for.
Yeah, for sure. So I it was my first year and I was struggling to get work. I my wife, she found some local inst people that were somewhat, not outrageously huge on Instagram.
Yeah,
And so she was like, "Hey, you need to reach out to these people, send them an email." And she was able to find, their
they
their
were
act
local to you.
yeah, yep. And I couldn't tell you how she did it. I think she just Googled, Instagrammers in Tulsa, Oklahoma or whatever.
You can do that today. Now you
Yeah,
just type in influencer and
yeah.
name the major area you're in. They're
Yep.
out there.
Yep, for sure. And so I reached out to him and said, "Hey, would you be interested in me cleaning your house in exchange for a shout out, on Instagram?" And long story short, and I sent about 5 emails, two or three of them. I actually got positive responses out of. One of them had 1 million followers. Now I think she was more, nationwide. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually don't think I think I might have got like one job off of her. But then I had another one that I clean her house every single year, just the front. She's got a big, huge white house, and it takes me about an hour to blow all the cobwebs off.
Yeah, I gotcha.
She gives me a shout out, and that has got me about I I'd say about 30 to $40,000. Now that's been over the course of about 3 years, but some pretty big ticket ones, a $5,000 house wash and roof and everything. But yeah, about 35 to 40. So yep, just local Instagram influencer
Yep.
marketing, I might say.
We had a guy that I did a Zoom with, and we were doing like he never worked with us, but we were going through it. We are gonna do it, and this guy had a testimonial, um, and it was from the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers
Oh
the year they
wow,
won the Super Bowl. I was just like, "Are you kidding me?"
crazy.
I was like, "If we run this ad, I am gonna look like a rock star," but it just never happened.
So what was your original? What was your original question?
It was, how do you, is there anything you do to turn little jobs into big ones, and how do you
Okay,
do
yeah.
referrals?
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, so referrals, if I've got somebody that, that knows a lot of people, I will, tell them, hey, I gave you 10% off for any referral that specifically mentions your name.
Hmm.
And man, I don't mind doing a job for free, especially, I mean, like I say, my tickets are about 350 on average, so if somebody
How many of
brings
those can you do in a day's time?
I typically do about 800 a day. Is about my min. That's about what I shoot for. Now, obviously,
But as an owner operator, that's good
yeah,
money,
yeah, right. Well,
you
and the
know?
thing is, that's window cleaning. I mean, today I did a power washing job. It took me 3 hours and it was 550. So if I had power washing all day, I'd be doing 12, thirteen
Yeah,
hundred,
yeah.
a day. So we just don't quite have the market here. We don't, and today I wasn't even shooting bleach. It was all cobwebs, 100% cobwebs. And so if I notice, if they call me for windows, I'll ask them if they need any power washing. I do a little bit of gutters, so
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
definitely mention that too. So, just mentioning what else you do, talking about what you do without, talking too much, there's a fine line for sure.
So like I know what a lot of the guys do, they have a checklist.
Hmm.
They try to do the quotes in person and they walk the property with them.
Yep.
Because like the bigger companies, they have a harder time at upsells because they have schedules to keep their guys on. They got to get to the next job. So
Hmm.
it's hard to do upsells on the spot because what it's going to do is push everybody else out and,
Right.
screw up the rest of the day
For
or
sure.
make those poor guys work into the wee hours, which,
Yep.
generally team members don't like doing that unless they're commissioned.
Right. Right.
Um, but for you, man, that just makes so much sense.
Hmm. For sure.
All right, man. So turning the corner here before we get to the end here. So if you had any kind of advice, any lessons learned or advice for others that are starting out now, or again, they're struggling, kind of maybe sub 50,000 a year or trying to feed your family,
Hmm.
like what's the biggest lessons in the sales process that you would tell somebody like that?
Right. Yeah, I would say the main thing is obviously presentation, just presenting yourself as professional, clean,
Hmm.
especially in this industry. We're going to clean people's houses, don't even if you've got an unbranded truck, man, make sure it's clean, make sure the tires are clean, your
Yep, yep,
interior's clean, you're not dropping pop bottles and dip, whatever
yep.
coming
Not
out of
smoking
it.
on the client's property.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
just I mean a lot of it to me kind of seems common sense, but just show up clean, somebody that
For you,
is
it's easy. Like when people work for you, sometimes it's
yeah,
harder,
yeah, right.
you
Yeah,
know?
so just show up clean and I would say if you're not started a business yet or if you're looking at starting a power washing or window cleaning business, make sure you've got customers first, before you spend a bunch of money on equipment. Rent equipment if you've got to, before you drop, 5,000 on a rig. 5,000 probably wouldn't get you much.
No, I mean you might get something that's like 5 years old on Craigslist,
Yeah,
but
right, right. Yeah, before you drop 15, 20 grand. make sure you can actually use it because the reason you want the better stuff is so you can work faster. You're not going if you're at zero clients, you're not going anywhere faster. So except in
Yep.
devs, make sure you have a strategy on how to get clients before you start dropping money on equipment. Yeah, just show up when you say you're going to, do what you say you're going to do, be friendly, understand as we started just at the beginning there, everybody's got their bad days.
Oh
Don't let
yeah. Yep.
don't let it give everybody else a bad day. So,
Well, yeah, you kind of answered my last question, which was if you had to start over, what would you do differently? And it sounds like you would have customers
yeah, for
before
sure.
you
Yeah.
went all out.
Yeah, and I mean that it's not always the fun stuff. We're all most of the time we're all about equipment and getting fun toys and stuff. But yeah, man, if you don't have anything to use it on, it's just gonna end up on Craigslist again.
Yeah, it
So
makes sense. That makes so much sense. I mean, it's kind of the chicken for the egg story, but it's a balance, because you got to start
yep.
somewhere.
Yeah, right.
But like my dad always said, if you want to learn how to do something, go work for somebody first.
Right, right,
And that will give you the foundation. I mean, it sucks for the person you're working for because they're like, oh, I got this great guy and I keep him forever. And then in 6 months, they become your competition. I get it
right.
because um, I've churned people out of here. I've had clients that watch what we do. Not no digs at you, but I've had clients that
Sure.
I can think of six of them. And again, you're with the AI area, but
Right.
some people have took our proposals, took our ads, took
Mhm.
everything, and like
Right.
I'm an agency owner now.
Yeah.
And again, at first it used to burn my rear end a little bit, but now it's just like, you know what? I get it.
Yep. Yep.
I get it. So that said, though, it's a kind of a good segue. Next thing we want to get into here, and again, we've been through the sales process, through closing, through, all the things you would have done if you did it differently. So now, I've said this in the beginning, Luke here he does have an agency. What it does, we're automating your business from the sales process through closing deals, and
Mhm.
it's AI automate. You
Assistant.
just go ahead, tell what
Yeah,
name
yeah.
of the website and such.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. So the website is AssistantBot.ai.
That was it. That was it. It
Yeah.
just slipped my mind for a second.
Yep. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, the main thing is, sorry.
You're
The main
good.
thing, yeah, the main thing is as soon as a lead comes in, and you've probably done this, when you're trying to find an HVAC guy or, getting a roof or whatever, you submit your information. You always get an automated, nowadays, 50% of the time you'll get an automated text. Hey, thanks for reaching out. We'll have somebody with
Yep.
you shortly. And you never hear back or, how that goes. And so basically what the AI does is, I do send out that initial, hey, thanks for reaching out to Oklahoma Pro Wash. We'll have somebody with you, within the next 5 minutes. Or I honestly, I can't even remember what the message says anymore.
Now, is it by text or is it AI voice? Like, what is
So,
it?
yep. So I've got it set up with text and email. I don't have anything with AI voice yet. I get AI voice calls all the time, and they drive me crazy. And so I don't do that myself yet.
I built one the other day just to play with it,
Yeah.
and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean it sounds good, but I don't know. I can tell pretty quick what it is. And so yeah, so they get a text and an email within I have it set to about 60-second delay saying, "Hey, I've got mine named Brooke with Oklahoma Pro Wash. How can I help you today?" And so then they'll ask, "Yeah, I'm looking to get a quote for my window cleaning." And this is triggered off of Facebook ads and my website. And
So the
also if
form
I,
on your website, and
yep,
then if someone completes the lead form or messenger sequence, that's
yep,
what triggers it.
yes, sir, yep. And then also, if I miss a phone call as well, it'll kind of do a similar process. So, if I, they ask, I've got some pre-qualifying questions set up. Same thing as, I do over the phone.
Hmm.
Number of windows, and hang on just one
Oh,
second.
you're good, man. You're good. He can join in. He's good.
Say hi. His name's
Up,
Bronson.
buddy. Hey,
He's five
Bronson,
years
what's going
old.
on, buddy?
Good.
What's up, buddy?
Good?
Can I bring it out there and
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
okay, be
That's good, man.
All right.
Hey, I got five in him, man. I know. I know.
Right. Yeah, he's an only child for now, but yeah, it's no, there's mommy should have one. There should be one out there. Yeah, so I get the inbound lead, Facebook form, website form, or I miss a phone, if I happen to miss a phone call. The AI, well, it's a first just an automated message. Hey, thanks for reaching out to Oklahoma Pro Wash.
Hmm.
Somebody with you shortly. And then the AI reaches out on text and email, and it asks an initial question. Hey, this is Brooke with Oklahoma Pro Wash. How can I help you today? And then the customer, almost always says, yeah, I'm just looking to get a quote for my windows. And so then I've got it set up for me to ask the number of windows. Um, uh, if they've got any storm windows, how soon they're looking to get the work done. And then I can have it set to actually schedule a quote.
Do you
And
find your clients always know what storm windows are versus
well,
like single pane?
yeah, so if they don't know what it is, it'll answer the question, and I don't even have to give it any prompting. It literally pulls it from Chat GPT and or Anthropic. I don't know if
Yep.
you've used
That's
them.
Claude. Claude.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yep. So it'll just pull. I don't have to, tell it what it is. And then if they do ask about pricing, I've got my minimums set up to where, it can kind of pre-qualify that way. I don't tell it to ever give the pricing every time, only if they ask. Just so that if they are, super concerned.
What do you do if your AI if the AI bots mess up? Do you stand by it or how does that work? Is there a disclaimer?
Oh, as far as pricing goes,
Hmm.
well, I've just got it set up to do my minimums.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, yep. And then I tell it how many windows and what the minimum is. So, if I've got it set kind of high right now, and then if it is slow, I can always adjust it. Um, but yeah, that's not been an issue. So yeah, I've got it set up to give my minimums if they ask. Otherwise, it's set to uh, finish out the questions, to determine if they're a good lead, and then I'll have it. After it finishes up, it'll say, okay, great. Luke will be in touch with you shortly. And then I get a message saying, hey, you've got a super hot lead. They've been through all your questions.
Hmm.
Now, I can have it set up to actually go ahead and schedule the quote. It can look at my calendar and it can actually say, okay, here's our next availability. I don't have that set up right now because I'm doing so many different things. I'm doing the AI and I'm doing my
Yeah.
window cleaning. But yeah, if you've definitely got a good schedule down, where you're always available from 8 to 5. Now you can definitely block out time blocks and different things,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, it'll schedule it, it'll send the reminders and everything. So yeah, it's pretty nifty. Now, you definitely got to make sure, as far as like service area, but it can even determine service area if it's within the area, and then it'll kick out any that are outside of your service
That's
area.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So what um what made you want to like inspire you to start this as a business?
Yeah, for sure. So back in my busiest year, 2023, I want to say it was 70 leads my first 10 days of spring, March the 20th through
That's
the
for
30th.
window cleaner, that's kind of normal if you're running your
Yeah.
ads right.
Right, yeah. But the thing is, I was sick. I was
Mm.
dead sick for 3 of those days. I lost, I don't know how much money I lost that first 3 to 5 days or whatever. And so, I've always had that in the back of my mind. It's like, man, if I could have somebody, um, you know, uh, run this for me, I could have done a whole lot more. And obviously, I'm not always able to get to my leads within the 3 to 5 minutes that I would
Yeah.
like to. And so it was like, man, if I can help out, other owner operators, with this, it would definitely change the game for them too. Just kind of a virtual assistant, that can help out for sure.
So when you're looking for customers, like where are they at in their business? Are they brand new? Are they
Right.
established? Or are they just at the point where you were, where you were too busy? Like
Yeah.
who are you
Yeah.
looking
That
for?
Yep, they have to have inbound leads that they're not able to follow up with every single one. So yeah, once you figured out the lead generation, you're working with clean marketing or whoever it might be. If you're getting leads, basically my slogan or whatever is I help small business owners not let any leads slip through the cracks. Because you're getting all those leads, especially springtime.
Yep.
There are going to be some that slip through for sure.
So what else can what you do automate besides the quoting and leads? Or can it do anything else?
Yeah, so it's got the I mentioned missed calls. So
Yep.
if I do miss a phone call, it will send a message out similar to the other one saying, "Hey, this is Oklahoma Pro Wash. Sorry, we couldn't take your phone call right now. We'll get back with you as soon as we can." And then a couple minutes later, they do get an outbound, or they get a text message saying, "Hey, sorry we couldn't take your call. This is Brooke. I can text. How can I help you today?" Or something to that effect. I've got it all set up. I can't remember
So
how
your
exactly.
AI's name is Brooke.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's my wife's middle name. So
Ah, I got you. I got
yeah,
you.
yep. And then it can do review requests. It can also do it. And some people don't like this, but I've not had any issues with it myself. It actually replies to all my reviews for me.
No,
Um,
we do that with
yeah,
our SEO programs.
yeah,
We hook in some AI and it
yeah,
does it. And I mean, and I look at what they write and I was like, I couldn't have wrote that,
yeah,
and it's quick.
yeah,
And
yeah.
even the if there's a less than 5-star review, we'll say
Right.
it
Yeah,
handles them so
sure.
professionally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, it's mostly helps with sales for sure. It doesn't do a whole lot other than that, but just mostly with that sales game, trying to make sure you get followed up with those clients as soon as possible.
Yeah. I mean, because once someone finds you and they're interested, they're going to keep looking until they feel heard,
Yep, yep.
and it makes such a difference. Now, statistically, under 2 minutes, and
Yeah.
your percentages start going down after that when
Hmm.
new leads come in. I mean, I get with some businesses, it's just not possible.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
at least making that first contact, making them feel like they're heard, or have some kind of an idea, what the next step is, will keep them from looking. Because even with the Facebook algorithm,
Hmm.
somebody engages with your window cleaning ad,
Yep.
Facebook like, ooh, I know 8 other window cleaners, and guess what?
Uh-huh.
They're gonna start feeding those ads.
Yeah, for sure.
Facebook, once they're a publicly traded company, they won't, and that's just how it works,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know.
Absolutely.
And the other reason you got to be quick is because you might not be the first one
Hmm.
that interacted with that ad. You might be the third or fourth one, but if you're the fastest one to get back to them,
Yeah, absolutely.
it makes that difference. So
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times, I've reached out to, different service providers. And I mean, I get it, people are busy, but just having this little extra tool in my toolbox definitely has gotten me some really good jobs for
yeah,
sure.
I'll say here, like we've had some furnace trouble this year, dude, and I think our winters are probably colder than yours because
Hmm.
I'll tell you, man, when it's cold, it is near an act of God to get a plumber on the phone. But they do get back to you 2 days later.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, hey, I found whoever I could because I didn't want my pipes to freeze.
Yep, yep,
You
absolutely.
know, I probably still wouldn't wait anyway for that reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do get back to you, apologize, say, hey, we were out on jobs, and
Hmm.
it's -3 degrees today. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but cool, man. Is there anything else you'd like to drop here? Any other nuggets? Anything else about what you do that you'd like someone to know?
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, like I said, I mean, just as soon as you can get back to those leads, and like you said, just making them feel heard,
Yeah.
and I've had people. I mean, most of the time, I'll tell them, after I get there to the quote, or if I'm talking to them on the phone, I'll be like, "Hey, I've got a confession to make. You were talking to AI," and there's been a couple that have said, "Yeah, I could kind of tell." But I mean, they interacted with it. I mean, I had a guy, major construction company here in Tulsa. He interacted with it, and I mentioned to him at the job, I was like, hey, I was like, you were talking to AI. He's like, yeah, I could kind of tell, but I mean, hey, it was a $1,300 job, and it didn't turn him off of it for sure. So,
No,
it,
it works, man. I mean, we're
yeah,
not real heavy on it right now, but like 3 years ago, we were running it really heavy because when we had like a lower end starter program which you don't offer anymore, so it made more
Mhm.
sense. But we would take them through a series of prompts.
Mhm.
Again, is where how many employees do you have? What are your 2023 goals for revenue? What are you
Mhm.
spending on marketing? What are you doing? And based on the answers to those questions, and there were more, we would either say, hey, you can click this button right here, and it was me doing a sale presentation on
Mhm.
the package, but
Mhm.
we know which one to send to them.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and at some points we'd come in the morning and two people would pay the first month, and I've never even spoken to them yet because they watched the
Okay.
video, had the
Yeah.
link to go. We'd have to come in and onboard people and just go. It was
Right.
like I said, and I kind of got back to the personal touch. I don't know, it just seems like with our kind of services again, it was personal enough where people didn't mind leaving us,
Right.
you know.
Yep.
So I like to talk to everybody now. I do some qualifying with AI. I take the appointment, and
Mhm.
then again it goes from there. But
Yeah.
um, there's still that human factor, but making sure people are heard is, like you said,
Mhm.
it's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you can go on the website again. It's theassistantbot.ai, and there'll be a form come up, and you can actually put your name, phone number, email, your business name, and what industry you're in, and it'll text you and it'll interact
I was
with.
actually looking at that before.
Yeah,
Do you want to do it real quick? Do you
sure.
care?
Yeah. No, I don't mind at all. Yep.
Here, hold on.
I hope it's all still set up. I've been tinkering a lot, so
If
you can go.
not, if not, I'll
Hey,
edit it out.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yep.
hold on.
I will check my back end here real quick. But yeah, you're good to go ahead and start it for sure.
AssistantBot.ai. I just want to open up the right screen here, and then I'll share
Alrighty. Yeah, there's no telling what I've got going on in here, but
screen. You see that?
yep,
All right. So this is Luke,
yep.
AssistantBot.ai. So you're saying, what do you want me to do here?
So there should be a pop-up.
If there was, hold on, I'll hit it
Oh,
again.
okay, yeah, refresh and just put your info in there. Well, you might have to blur it out because you do need to put your real number that you'll get a text message to.
You know what? I'm okay with that. So what I'll do, let's put our company number in here because we can get text on it.
Perfect. Like I said, hopefully this all goes through right. I think we're good.
We'll be all right. First 5 minutes. Let me go in here and check.
All right, so I actually just got a text saying David at page1wd.com is about to test your demo. Let me,
Hey, Brooke. Brooke's talking to me.
okay, sounds good.
All right. Hey, Brooke. How can we help you today?
All right, so yeah, pretend like you just filled out a
Yep.
Facebook form for getting your windows cleaned or doing power washing, whichever industry you put it in, or unless you did your own industry doing marketing.
So I just tell them I want to automate my business or what?
No, 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 no. So you're gonna act like you're a customer for what
Oh, I
you're
understand
doing.
now. It texted me
Yep.
like, I was like, why is Brooke saying she's from Clean Marketing? It's the demo.
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. Let's say, because marketing, I want a new website. And
Okay,
it's
so
not Windows.
yeah, yeah. So you did your own business then? Like for marketing and SEO and stuff?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because it formulates two pre-qualifying questions. It builds itself basically, and and we'll ask a couple questions based on what you told it. Now, obviously, all this would be super niche down to your business. If we were to, if a client was to work with us, it'll ask whatever questions you want it
Yeah,
to.
and it's asking the right questions. Like, do you want a complete redesign or do you want updates?
Yeah.
And again, you do use this for window cleaning, and because I told it what I wanted, here it is responding. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, now I do have it set up to like zero delay, so it's coming through pretty quick. I usually have about a 30-second delay, so it's a, a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, I
Uh,
got you.
but yeah, so yeah, anybody can go on that website and put in that they're, window cleaner, pressure washer, whatever industry they want to, and it will build a receptionist bot basically, and you'll just interact with it as if you were a customer for your
Yeah,
own
it's
business.
it's literally asking me always good, like what timelines you want for launching a new
Mhm.
website.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I don't want to spend here and do this for 10 minutes, but man,
Yeah. Yep. No,
It's
yeah,
doing what I would ask my team here to do. Yeah.
yes, that's just a demo, that built itself. Usually we would sit down and have about a, 30-minute to 1 hour conversation about your business in particular and what questions, you would want it to ask and everything. And go so far as to scheduling, and even, potentially quoting. I wouldn't necessarily recommend, doing an in-depth quote, but at least giving some minimum pricing in case
You
that
do
they
any
do
kind of
ask.
trials or anything like that for people?
Yeah, yeah, I do have a 2 week trial that you can get on. I do have that set up to where it's just on your website. We can set up a chat widget for you,
Yep.
because like this, it does take a lot longer process to have it work through text message. But if you do have people get on your website, you can have it set up with a web chat widget that's manned 24/7, and it'll
Pretty cool. Like if you want to try this out, shoot Luke a message. Again, when you look probably in the bottom of this video, I'll put a direct link into your profile for Facebook or wherever.
absolutely.
Reach out to him, 2 week trial, give it a shot, see what happens. I don't have any other closing thoughts. I mean, really appreciate your time. I mean, this is actually pretty cool. Like, educate me a little bit here on what you're doing. And
Absolutely.
I'm positive there's some nuggets in here for some people that are struggling with sales. So, again,
Sure.
uh, if anybody has any questions, reach out to Luke. If you're looking for AI and automation, you're looking for ads, we're here. All right, man. Thanks, Luke.
Have a good one, man.